So in this video, we're going to talk about why I stayed in Italy for a month and how that happened. So I decided that I wanted to go back to Italy with my best friend, who used to be my ex, but is my best friend. And yeah, so it was definitely one hell of a trip. We decided to stay for a month because we wanted to go to multiple places, and having an Airbnb in Italy for a month was way cheaper than having an Airbnb in Italy for a week. Now, with that, there was some pros and cons. So I'm going to go over the cons first, and I would say the cons was we had to pay for food every single day. Cooking was not really the biggest option, especially with different materials there, such as like the food resources, that's all I'm saying, and how it works, and the milks and the cheeses, and it just tastes different. It was a lot trying to cook on my own in Italy, and I resorted just to making sandwiches. That's it. Like, whenever we went somewhere and we were traveling for a long time, I got a baguette. Get yourself a little cheap baguette for the day. Slice it open. Put your salami, your provolone, your Swiss, your cheddar, your spicy, whatever cheeses they have at the stores in Italy, such as Carrefour, and just make you a sandwich for the day and wrap it in saran wrap. That's what I did when we traveled to places like Pisa and we went to the beach, and I was like, hey, I don't have time to be doing all of this, so I'm just going to have a sandwich, and we're going to just buy ice cream when we feel like it. So being there for a month was a strain for our pockets when it came to paying for food. The food there is pretty okay. It's not that great. Usually people think, oh, pasta, pizza, yum, yum, yum. It's not your New York pizza, if that makes sense. So it's not that great. And I found it really hard to eat in places that were seaside because I did not like the idea of seafood and pasta. And let's make a correction. This wasn't just no Red Lobsters or no. It wasn't no linguine, Alfredo, and shrimp. That was not it. It was tomato sauce and those little, what is it called, prawns? No. It was not good. They had watery, calamari when you're supposed to fry it and it's good. No, it was baked and it was watery and it was on lettuce. It was the grossest food I had, which I would say would be seasides in places such as Monterosso. It's by the water, and it's, I would say, 2 or 3 hours from Florence, which was where we were basically the whole time. So I decided to buy an Airbnb for the entire month in Florence. With that being said, we did travel other places, and how I did it was we left our big luggage in Florence at the house, and then we would travel to other places. So where were these other places I went? I went to places such as Monterosso. I went to Malta. We went to Rome. And Malta is just another country. It's just a flight out of Rome. It's probably like an hour 30 at most. And it was an easy trip to go to Malta. So we went to Malta, Monterosso. We went to Pisa. We went to Rome. And where else did we stay? I think that was it. I think the main Airbnbs were Milan, Rome. We didn't stay in Pisa. We just stayed for a day. And Monterosso and Malta. So we went to those 4 places, I guess. But we had one main place, which was Florence. So yeah, it took not that much of a chunk of our budget. It was probably about $4,000 in total for just, I would say, the flight to get from Malta and back, and then the Airbnbs was $4,000 in total, which was not bad compared to if you were to stay in, I don't know, an Airbnb in Miami for at least a week, you would be spending about $3,000 US dollars. So yeah, I don't regret it. Sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, oh, why did I spend that much money? When else am I going to do this? When else am I going to have the time to do this? Like, I was in college, I got my refund checks, and I was like, finally, I want to do something for myself with them instead of just spending them on clothes and this and that. So going over to that, I decided to use my refund check from school. I used the money from my job, and I also used the money from credit cards and cash back to pay for these trips. Now, did I go on more trips after that, like to California, that maxed me out? Of course, but I do not regret it for the world, because one thing, the difference between Italy and California, we rented a car in California and Arizona, and it was amazing. And I kid you not, I wish that, sorry, let me just fix the light. I wish that I did that before, if that makes sense. I regret not doing that in Italy, but I didn't know how to drive in Europe. That was not happening, and it was cobblestone, so that's one thing I'm definitely not doing. So yeah, I definitely would say transportation was awful. We got like so many tickets. I think we got $300 worth of just traffic violation tickets. And I made a video talking about it before. I could talk about it again. We got on the bus and they said there's nothing you need to pay. Thought it was strange, but whatever. And we're like in Florence, but we're on the countryside going to Asmana Spa. And the first time we went to the spa, we didn't pay for any of our buses. The bus drivers didn't care. We asked them and they're like, no pay. And I didn't speak Italian or no Italian law, so I just was like, all right, whatever. So me and my best friends got on. The second day we got on, there was traffic control sitting on the bus and they waited till we took a seat to say, hey, where's your ticket? And I'm like, they didn't tell us to get a ticket. And I was just like, I'm looking and I see other people checking their ticket in and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, is it a certain day? And I was just like, there's a misunderstanding. I was like, can we get off? So literally at our spot, they decide these people wait there. If you're going to Asmana Spa, please know that there's going to be people waiting on the bus for you. So make sure you pay for your ticket because we weren't told this. They literally were just like, there's no fee. And when we got on as well, some people didn't pay, so I was confused. I was just like, I don't understand why, like, some people can't pay or certain days you can't pay. I don't know what it was, but it's whatever. So then he's ticketing us, and I'm just like, this is stupid. And then my best friend, she goes, so where do you buy the ticket from? And he goes, oh, a smoke shop. Where in the hell, you on vacation, you just gonna go to a smoke shop and buy a bus ticket? And the tickets are like $1. So for the fine to be 60 euros each was a load of bullshit. And I am so mad that I paid that. And now I've learned my lesson. And I really don't want to go back to Italy again if I have to take the bus anywhere because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to go to any country where I have to take the bus at this point. I'm tired of it. I don't trust it. And only place I want to take the bus is New York City. I'm good, Italy. Thank you for that. But I'm here to make this video to let you guys know, do not let them tell you that there is no fee. Get off the bus as soon as they tell you there's no fee. Bang on those doors. Tell them to get you out and go on about your day because it's a lie. There's a fee for everything in Italy and they just don't tell certain peoples on certain days. And I think that's a load of bullshit. So that was my horror experience. Then I would say the second train we got on, it was just, I'm be honest, I did not want to pay for that. It was like 60 euro or something to get from Venice to Florence. Meanwhile, when I was going to school, that was like maybe 20 bucks round trip. And I was just like, I'm not paying for that. So we tried to do a shortcut and we went to Bologna. We went to Bologna. We went from Venice to Bologna. And then I think we were supposed to go to Padova, but we ended up not. And then once we got on the Bologna train, I was like, they have not been checking our tickets, so why am I going to pay for anything, period? I'm tired. So we got on the train, and I was like, if they come through, then I'll just pay for it on my phone. So then I go on my phone, and I'm like, I can't see it, so I just like, whatever. I'm like, these train conductors, they check when they want. They do what they want. So in Italy, be aware that, yeah, of course you should pay your tickets, but people free ride all the time. So it just was really irritating to me that it was like, they would fine you $60 when the train trip or whatever it is like 11. So when you get onto the LIR, when you get onto anything in New York, you pay the amount that it costs to where you're going. You don't pay a fine on top of that amount. You don't do none of that. You just pay what if your trip was $11 and you didn't pay at the station, then you just paid on the train. So in Italy, it was not the case. And I will not be taking transportation ever again. And I made a video about Trenitalia. I talked them up, but I will never do that again because F you, Trenitalia. F you. F you so much, Trenitalia. No, it's not for me. No. I'm never taking it again. The Freccia Rossa sucked. I don't think it should have costed that much when they ticketed us. And then the guy was like this big Italian dude talking about, you're American, let me see your passport. And they assume just because you're American, you have a lot of money, which I'm not saying I have a lot of money, but I'm saying I'm better off than they are, and they're just jealous about it, which sucks, but that is a thing in Italy. Be aware of that and be cautious and just try to follow the rules, but a lot of rules are stupid to me. I'm just happy we didn't go to jail that day, and he was just like, oh, well, you're gonna see the police, and it's gonna be double if you don't pay it right now. And I'm just looking at him like, I was pissed. I was pissed at myself. I was pissed at my best friend. I was just like, why do we do this? It was just a lot. So I would say transportation was the worst that we've dealt with. Transportation and racism in Milan. There was a lot of racism in Milan because Milan is prestigious. Everyone's supposed to like it. No. People in Italy are struggling. I swear, Italy is kind of like a third world country that is just classy, if that makes sense. Just because they're westernized and they have ancient this and ancient that, it means nothing. Italy is struggling. The only way that Italy survives as a country is on tourism. And they've been they've been treating their tourists like crap, like straight up crap. So yeah, their tourism is going down. I would say things are getting more expensive in Italy. I went to Italy like 7 years ago, like for school. So it was totally different. It wasn't like that. I didn't get in trouble for the trains. The trains were also cheaper. I didn't get in trouble for the buses. The buses were cheaper. It was totally different. But after the pandemic, Italy has become a brand new place and not for the best. The technology is updated. They have cameras here. They have police here. They're very heavy on police now, which when I was going to Italy, it wasn't that big of a deal, but they're very heavy on police now. And I think that we went during the month of June. So let that be a month where it's like, okay, tourist season should ramp up by the end of June. But no, we were there for the whole month and it was pretty catty of an experience from police and this and that. And it just was whack, I would say, when it came to transportation. So rent a car, get a car service if you're in Italy, avoid transportation at all costs. Now, what was the pros of Italy? I would say definitely traveling and seeing the art, going to different gardens and garden/museums because they were attached. I like the scenic like walks and the scenic routes, and I loved being on the train to go to like the waterside country type stuff. But I would say I'll never pay for it again because it's way overpriced now, and it's not the prices that it used to be. Like the fact that you have to pay a year in advance to get a good sale on a ticket is crazy to me, and I will never do that whole process again, and I will try to figure out a way to get a car rental service. What else was a pro? Uber XL? That was pretty nice in Italy. I loved it. I thought it was so luxurious, just being in a Benz, and you would have like the Benz truck, and you would have like a BMW pick you up for like literally like $20 to get 20 miles. It was pretty nice. Uber XL was pretty nice. I don't think they allow any other type of Uber service in Italy. But also know that with Uber XL, you could get a giant truck that is hot, sweaty, and nasty. You could get a van, which we got one time. But the Uber drivers were really cool. They were nice, and they always had cool conversations with us. And I loved it. I really loved just taking the Uber. What else was a pro? Walking. Having everything be walkable, such as restaurants, libraries, having clothes, like, shopping centers that are walkable. It was great. I really liked it. I would say going to Malta, I shopped more because the prices were more affordable there than in Italy. The prices in Zara and their different Inditex companies they range differently from where you are. So in New York, it's expensive. In Italy, it's expensive. In Spain and Malta, the prices are a lot lower and they're relatively cheap and good quality. So I will say definitely shopping in Malta is a must. I encourage everyone to go to Malta. Stay there for maybe about a week, I would say, or less if you want. Stay there for 3 days. Try to rent out a boat if you can, like with a group of friends, because their boats were relatively cheap compared to most yachts. We rented out a yacht for like $700 and it was for the whole day, $700 versus renting out a boat for about $4K. That wasn't bad. I did it. Had my refund check, and I did it. I was like, when else am I going to do this in my life? Rent out a whole boat for me and my best friend. It was a boat that was for 18 to 25 people, but obviously I don't have that many friends sitting around. And the friends I invited wanted to go somewhere else, aka Greece. So they couldn't come, but I still love them. And yeah, so let's get into another good thing. What else was good? I would say that the diversity in Airbnbs was nice. Like we had an Airbnb that was right on the beach one time. We had an Airbnb that was like a 2-story house. Always make sure that you have a washer and dryer when you travel because it will save you a lot. And don't pack that much. I've overpacked in my life and learned that it's not worth it. And also I'm just consuming less in my life. So that's just a life lesson for myself and a tip for you guys, which I want to make an episode about. I will talk more about Italy someday. And if you guys want to know anything about my trip to Italy, please write it in the comments. Please ask questions. If it could be about racism, whatever, I'm cool with that. Just put it in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe. Talk with Nia Talk, and have a great day, you guys.